Hi, so I'm going to be doing some dog training tip videos in the lead up to Christmas. The first one is going to be about clicker training, or I prefer in the majority of times to use marker words because I find I've always got my voice with me and it's more personal to the dog and I tend to smile when I say my words. The clickers I will tend to use if I'm training quite an intricate trick where my brain doesn't think quick enough at the moment to say yes as a marker word, so I can just press a little button clicker and that works on the same principle. So the marker word or the clicker initially mean nothing to the dog. It's the reward, the toy, the treat that is rewarding to that particular dog. By associating them with yes or with the click, we can make that sound more valuable to the dog. So basically that sound becomes the sound of you are getting a reward. We can use them in a number of ways to advance our dog training. They're really super useful. If you're not using a marker word, I really do recommend it. So one way we've just touched on, we can just capture that very moment that a dog does a behaviour that we like, and it might not be possible to feed them in that moment. The other way is we can teach duration. So if we use the marker word yes or the click to end the behaviour, once we've taught the initial behaviour, all we have to do is just delay the marker word or the click by just a millisecond, and then a little bit more, then you've got duration. So behaviour that comes to mind there is a sustained hand touch. So the dog knows, keep doing the behaviour unless I've heard the click. Another way we can use the clicker, and this is really valuable for loose lead walking, is to get the treat out of our hand. Yeah, because a lot of dogs I've seen, the treat in the hand is the cue. Remember, there's always a cue for a behaviour. The treat in the hand by your leg is the cue to walk in that place. Yeah, change your food to the other side, and most dogs, if that's what's cueing them to do the behaviour, will move sides and walk underneath the food in the new hand. So potentially we need to get rid of the food out of our hand, but still use it as a reward, so the dog understands it's about the place they are walking in and not about the food as a cue. So potentially we can use the marker word, once we've taught the understanding of being beside us, to help us with loose lead walking, because it allows us to delay the reward. When we can't delay the reward, we need the reward in our hand so that we can feed the dog quite quickly, so that we're still feeding them when they're in the area we want them to be by our leg. Once they've understood the click or the marker word, we can have the treats in our pocket and we can mark the behaviour we want, being beside our leg, then we can get the treat out of our pocket. So the dog knows it's doing the right thing, it gives confidence, and it can carry on doing it. We can also use the marker word to reinforce, to reward something in a sequence. So the likes of weave training. We can mark yes when they enter the first pull correctly, and then we can reward at the end. Obviously, yes, we would have to sometimes reward the first part of the sequence as well. But it just makes sure, because we've associated that marker word or that click with reward, that the dog is reassured that's correct, keep going, or reassured that that part of that sequence is also important. It's not just the bit at the end where they get the reward. So marker words, as you can see, are really quite important. So I would really recommend that you introduce marker words or clickers into your training. You can do that one of two ways. You can either say yes, give a treat. So have 5 treats, say yes, then give a treat. Repeat 5 times, same with the clicker. Or you can just start teaching a really simple behaviour and put your marker word in when the bottom hits the floor if you're teaching a sit. It doesn't really matter. I've found that it works quite well either way, and the dog soon realises that the marker word or the click means they've earned a reward.